The tops in the sport of truck and tractor pulling have come to a very unusual place. You might not believe this, but I'm standing on 18 inches of packed clay power track. It is on the front straightaway of Pocono International Raceway, the home of 2 NASCAR Winston Cup Series races. Today, 24,000 tons of dirt have been brought into this front straightaway to construct a track that will be just perfect for the sport of truck and tractor pulling. Hi, my name is Doc Riley, Power Pack Motorsports, and today it's the $30,000 Crower Classic. The tops in all 4 divisions of pulling are right here at Pocono International Raceway for the $30,000 Crower Classic. It's coming up next. To Pocono International Raceway, and today the $30,000 Crower Classic. Pullers in all 4 of the NTPA Copenhagen Skull Grand National Pulling Circuit divisions, the top 5, the pullers with the most full pulls on the circuit to this point, are competing for the first annual $30,000 Crower Classic, and it is definitely a classic. The top names and even a few surprises are right here at the Pocono International Raceway. The 4-wheel drive Crower Classic is coming up next. Pullers competing for $30,000 in the first annual Crower Classic. First up in the $30,000 Crower Classic is Mr. Bud Jaskey on a new Berlin, Wisconsin, and the Miller High Life sponsored Golden Ox. This vehicle debuted this year on the Grand National Circuit with a brand new frame. They went to a sprint car fabricator and have him put a sprint car type of body underneath the Golden Ox. It's a 1988 Chevrolet, and the Golden Ox of Bud Jaskey is qualified for the Crower Classic. He is the first puller out of the gate. Bud has been involved in pulling for a number of years on the NTPA Copenhagen Skull Grand National Circuit. Runs a 2-wheel drive and a 4-wheel drive, but right now it's all on the line for the $30,000 Crower Classic. Sponsored by Crower Clutches. Every part for power, it's Crower. Here comes the Golden Ox of Bud Jaskey. Good run. The test puller coming right out, and he's digging deep into that Pocono clay that we've got here on the main straightaway. 260 feet and 11 inches for the Golden Ox. Bud, just an excellent run that time out of the Golden Ox.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we had enough bar on the rear to really hook up. The track's a little bit soft, and we thought, but it came out good and seemed to run good, and we'll have to see how it holds up.
Will this be one of the more unusual places you pulled, the front straightaway of a racetrack?
It's real much fun. It's kind of awesome.
What about being in the Crower Classic?
We're just pleased to be here, kind of like qualifying for Indy here. We got here, and so this is the highlight of it.
260 feet, 11 inches for Bud Jaskey and the Golden Ox out of New Berlin, Wisconsin, the first puller of 5 in the Crower Classic. Next up, a competitor in the Crower Classic. A man that has come through the season and continues to pick up ground on the rest of the 4-wheel drive field. Out of Farley, Iowa, it's Simon Says Pulling Team and Steve Olson. 5 wins on the Grand National Pulling Circuit last year and finished 10th at the Grand National Pulling Circuit's final points. 640 cubic inches, Keith Black engine. This is a Chevrolet S10, 1990. Out of Farley, Iowa, Steve Olson, the Simon Says Pulling Team. The distance so far in the Crower Classic, 260 feet, 11 inches. He'll spot the Ellenbaum sled right at about mid-track here on the front straightaway at Pocono International Raceway. A different type of horsepower here in Pocono this afternoon. He gets the green flag to compete in the $30,000 Crower Classic. The first time this has ever been offered to Grand National competitors, and they have worked hard throughout the season trying to qualify. Simon Says pulling out of Farley, Iowa. Here comes Steve Olson. Steve Olson and Simon Says Pulling Team turns at a distance of 232 feet and 8 inches here in the Crower Classic. Tough running truck, and as I mentioned in the Grand National Points Championship, continues to gain ground on the field. Next up in the Crower Classic, the reigning four-wheel drive champ, Jim and Paul Holman. Holman Brothers pulling team. This is foreplay, a 1960 Chevrolet, 604 cubic inches, 10 years of pulling experience that Paul Holman has. Jim Holman has 4 years of pulling experience. Together, the brothers have just done incredible things. They are the reigning NTPA Grand National Points champions in the four-wheel drive class, proving that you don't have to have a new truck to compete. Of course, the 1960 Chevrolet body, one of those classic features that Chevrolet has had for so many years. It's a fantastic and hot-running truck, has been throughout the entire Grand National circuit to this point. But all that is kind of behind us right now, as all thoughts turn to the $30,000 Crowder Classic. And here come the Holman brothers. Running truck right there for the Holman Brothers foreplay out of Wauseon, Ohio. The distance is 243 feet and 7 inches. That'll put him in second place right now in the Crowder Classic. But a fine-looking hook right there. Came down, looked like he wobbled the past couple of feet before he finally came to a stop. The Ellenbaum sled coming down on him and putting him to a close. And what are your comments, just first of all, on the pass right now?
Well, we were just trying to drive it with the throttle most of the way down the track, trying to get it hooked up. Felt pretty good.
What about being in the Crowder Classic?
Oh, this is really a great thrill and a privilege to be in the Classic.
Next up, it is the Budweiser Bandit, storming out of Canada. Battleford, Saskatchewan, Canada is home to the Bud Bandit. It's driven by Ed Wandler. Ed's been pulling for 10 years. He's got a janky Chevrolet in this 1989 Chevy truck, 650 cubic inches. It's last year 4th in the Grand National points. Qualifying for this Crowder Classic, kind of a surprise. He snuck in a couple of full pulls. Most people were looking at the big names in truck and tractor pulling. But Ed Wandler is one of those big names, but his success comes with consistency. We'll notice that he spots the sled a little bit off-center, closer to the barrier side. And we will see if that's going to have an effect on his pass as he gets ready to bring the Bud Bandit down the 300-foot strip here at Pocono International Raceway. Ed Wandler spends his entire year truck and tractor pulling. It's his full-time occupation, and he is definitely a good one at his craft. Gets the green flag out, and again, we'll see if spotting the sled in that particular area is going to have a difference as he comes down. Again, leading the class right now, 260 feet, 1 inch, the Golden Ox. But here comes the Budweiser Bandit. Going to be real close, and we might have a new leader right here, the Bud Bandit of Ed Wandler in the Crowder Classic. The Bud Bandit, 254 feet and 4 inches. A good, respectable run, but still behind the Golden Ox. Sharp-looking Chevy truck of Ed Wandler. And as Ed gets out right now, Ed, let's talk a little bit about the spotting of the sled. It seemed like you took a little bit off-center. What was your idea behind that?
Well, we just seen Bud make a pretty good pass down there, so we thought if we go down the same line, we should be able to do the same.
Following the Golden Ox's tracks, huh?
Yeah, no, we had a breakage the first run, so we didn't get to learn much. So we just kind of took a shot at the dark.
Been kind of a busy day for the Bud Bandit.
Yeah, we've had our share of bad luck this season, and hopefully things will turn around from here.
Coming up next, the 5th and final competitor in the $30,000 Crowder Classic. Out of Pennsylvania, the Nightmare Chevrolet, 1986 Chevrolet of Ed Hansloven. He has been competing in NTPA pulling for a number of years, basically on the pro national level, but has come up to the Grand National competition for the past couple of weeks and have done very, very well. Matter of fact, he's qualified for the Crowder Classic, which means he's done very well. Ed Hansloven and the Nightmare, a 1986 Chevrolet. Hansloven and the Nightmare. Definitely a good run right there. 243 feet and 9 inches. 243 and 9 for Ed Hansloven. The Crowder Classic 6,200-pound four-wheel drive class is now in the books. The Holman brothers finished 3rd. Ed Wandler comes in 2nd. And Bud Jaskey, the Golden Ox, takes home the top prize in the $30,000 Crowder Classic. It's got to feel good, Bud.
Really, it's the biggest payoff we've ever been involved with in pulling in any level, and we appreciate Crowder's support and make this possible, and it was neat to be able to get here. Just to get here was neat.
Let's talk a little bit about your run. You kind of spotted the sled in about the center of the track. Any particular reason? You were the first hook, too.
Yeah, we thought they had reworked it, and we drew number one, hoping that the only reason we drew it early today was that we thought maybe they'd rework the track, and being it wasn't a great track, that it might have a little extra roll in it if we were hooked first.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's the chance we took, and I guess it worked.
Paid off today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Bud Jaski, Miller High Life sponsored the Golden Ox, takes home first place in the 6,200 four-wheel drive class of the Crower Classic here at Pocono International Raceway. When we come back, the multi-engine monsters of tractor pulling, the 7,200-pound modified class is coming up. Welcome back to Pocono and the Crower Classic. Coming up, it's the 7,200-pound modified class. The Crower Classic, top 5 pullers with full pulls on the Grand National Circuit are here at Pocono today. This is Rosalind Knox, the Sassy Massey, out of Weir, New Hampshire, in her first season as a tractor puller. She spent 11 years in drag racing on the NHRA and IHRA circuits, but now in her first season as a competitive truck and tractor puller. Rosalind Knox. Her son Brian, at age 24 years of age, backs it up. JP1 Racing Hemi engines on there. John Knox, her husband, is helping stage the vehicle at the very end. You will notice that this little lady inside that big modified tractor has a roll cage around her. That makes it impossible for her to look back over her shoulder to stage the tractor. She is qualified for the Crower Classic, and right now going to run with the big boys on the Copenhagen Skoal Grand National Pulling Circuit for $30,000. Brian and John exit the track, and now it's all up to Rosalind Knox. She will throttle down almost immediately, kind of a throwback to her days in drag racing. The Sassy Massey, they called her the country girl in her drag racing days. Sassy Massey sponsored one tough running modified tractor. Knox on the Sassy Massey, the country girl, and a pretty good effort right there. The distance, 241 feet and 7 inches. Rosalind, the Crower Classic, you make history again as the first woman to qualify for the $30,000 Crower Classic. Let's talk a little bit about your run, where you spotted the sled, and what about the track?
Well, we spotted the sled right on the chalk line. John usually does that, and I think he felt that was a good spot, and he's usually right. It looks a little short, but we're just real happy to have qualified for this event. The MF Industrial Sassy Massey, I think, did well today.
It really did. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here he is, Jim Brockman, In-Laws and Outlaws pulling team out of New Haven, Indiana. Area's powered engines on the Kodiak-sponsored Bear. Tough running tractor. Jim Brockman right now on the Grand National Pulling Circuit for Copenhagen Skoal and NTPA is going after a first. Now, of course, it's the first annual Crower Classic, so he's qualified. But he was a Grand National Point champion in the mini rod class and also in the two-wheel drive class, right now sitting second in points. But as we've said throughout this entire afternoon, all of that really doesn't matter because they've qualified for the first annual $30,000 Crower Classic, and right now that's the most important thing on their minds. Tough running modified tractor, Jim Brockman, Kodiak-sponsored In-Laws and Outlaws pulling team out of Indiana, and a tough running tractor. They are set to unleash the bear, and here it comes, Jim Brockman. Jim Brockman with a good run, but he loses a belt right there as he cuts it off. The belt comes right out of the housing. Jim Brockman in the Kodiak-sponsored Bear, and the distance 238 feet and 6 inches. We look at it, what's wrong with this picture? Well, he lost one of the blower belts, and I can tell you, a tough run right there. Jim, as you come down the track, it looked like a little bit of a wiggle at about the 200-foot mark. Let's talk about track conditions, especially at about mid-track.
Poor track conditions, very poor, but it just makes it a little bit more challenging for the drivers. All in all, you know, it makes for a good contest. We got good, strong people here. We lost a blower belt, but hey, the Bear's plenty strong, and we'll take what we got out of that mess.
Well, it's got to feel good qualifying for the Crower Classic, too.
You bet. It's a tough, long season, and we appreciate the people that support us, all the sponsors involved, and the fans that come out to see us. It's a tough, grueling deal out here, and we appreciate their support.
Best of luck to you, Jim. Jim Brockman, the Kodiak Bear, and again, chewed up another belt, but they'll get him another day. Next up at a Crower Classic, it is Dave Banner, 17-time Grand National Champion. He will run 5 454 Chevrolet engines. Count them up there, and he can make them sing. Again, going to spot the sled a little bit off center here at Pocono International Raceway, right here on the straightaway. We've heard some comments about track conditions, but this man has told me before, if a track is 35 foot wide and 300 foot long, we'll have a winner. And then David Banner quickly added, and I hope it's me. Well, we will see what happens right here as he gets set to bring Mr. Chevy down the pulling surface here at Pocono. Digging it in there and constantly on the throttle. No one works an engine harder than Dave Banner.
Well, I tried to run her down a little off the center of the track, and I tried to walk it out of the track and try to get as much speed as I could before the weight got me, and I really think I was about all I could get out there on that track at that time. You know,
You've got another opportunity with the Bandit. We'll let you get down there and get that fired up.
Yeah, I'm going to probably drive it just a little different.
Best of luck to you. David Banner is going to hustle down the track to get into the Bandit. He's got one more shot at that $30,000 Crower Classic payoff. David Banner right now is going to try something a little bit different. He is going to spot the sled on the other side. And as he mentioned, well, sometimes you just got to think about some things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is the Bandit. Identical almost to Mr. Chevy, so he should get the same type of run out of it. Nope, that's not going to be the case. Dave Banner has seen something in the track and decided it didn't work on the other side where he had it, so he's going to bring it closer to the outside, and we will see if this pays off. Again, the leading distance, Roddle and Knox and the Sassy Massey at 2:41 and 7. Jim Brockman 2:38 and 6. Dave Banner and Mr. Chevy 2:33 and 6. And coming back will be Gardner Stone. David Banner in the Bandit out of LaFontaine, Indiana. The next to the last hook here in the Crower Classic. Dave Banner this time in the Bandit, 217 feet and 8 inches. And as we've seen it going right now, everybody that's hooking in the Crower Classic just seems to be getting shorter and shorter distances. Dave, that time around you spotted the sled a little bit closer to the out-of-bounds line. What about that decision?
Well, I scooted over to try to find a hole shot out of there. Didn't work. Gardner's got his hands full now, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
David Banner and the Bandit, 217 feet and some change. Not enough to win it this time. Gardner Stone has one chance left. Here he is, the General, Stage 4. Gardner Stone out of Middlebury, Vermont. He's had quite a year, and this is just a great honor. He qualified with 11 full pulls in the Crower Classic. That is more than any other person in all 4 divisions of pulling. The reason might be because of this vehicle that he campaigns right here. The General Stage 4 uses 4 T55 turbine engines. Gardner started modified pulling a number of years ago with the Allison tractor, leads in a point race, and the leading qualifier for the Crower Classic. Gardner Stone right now building the RPMs. When a turbine tractor pulls, it's very important to get maximum power. The RPM's up, the horsepower up at the very beginning so you can get the bite. It's tough to add to it once you get the turbines up to speed. Lights them up, here he comes. The Gardner Stone, the General Stage 4, is cleared for takeoff. Gardner Stone looked like he poured it on and poured it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's your winner, Gardner Stone, 257 feet, 7 inches.
Gardner Stone will pick up the victory, 257 feet and 7 inches. He will take home the Crower first place money. Gardner, that's got to feel real good. coming in with the Crowder Classic, qualifying with the most full pulls, and taking home the victory.
Yeah, I sure did. I knew I really screwed up big time after I turned that first one down, but the track's a little different, and it's really hard to read if you do a good job or not.
Well, Gardner, just your thoughts on running the Crowder Classic.
Oh, it's great. It gives the guys a chance that have competed all year long and make extra runs, a chance to come back and get a little bit of extra money for the extra runs we made all year long. I think it's a good thing, and I thank Dave Crowler and his company for putting this on.
Congratulations to you, Gardner. Gardner Stone, Middlebury, Vermont, wins it all, 257 feet and 7 inches with the General Stage 4, the winner of the $30,000 Crowder Classic.